Summer 1940. France has fallen. Hitler's armies stand just 21 miles across the English Channel, and Britain stands alone. Overhead, young pilots in Spitfires and Hurricanes scramble again and again, outnumbered, exhausted, fighting for control of the skies. If they fail, Germany's invasion barges are ready to sail.
But what if the RAF had run out of pilots before the Luftwaffe ran out of planes? What if the swastika had crossed the Channel that autumn?
By the summer of 1940, Hitler's Operation Sea Lion called for a cross-channel invasion of Britain. But first, Germany needed control of the skies. The Luftwaffe, under Hermann Göring, was tasked with destroying the Royal Air Force in weeks. Britain, meanwhile, had barely 1,000 fighter pilots to defend the entire country, relying on a new invention, radar, to track incoming raids and scramble squadrons just in time. Prime Minister Winston Churchill knew exactly what was at stake. If the RAF broke, Britain would have no way to stop a German landing. For weeks, the two air forces bled each other in the skies over southern England. But in late August, Göring made a change that would prove decisive. Suppose he hadn't. Picture the alternate timeline. Instead of shifting Luftwaffe bombers to target London in September 1940, Göring keeps relentlessly pounding RAF airfields, radar stations, and aircraft factories. Fighter Command, already stretched to breaking point, loses its ability to coordinate defenses. Pilots are lost faster than replacements can be trained. Without functioning airfields near the coast, RAF squadrons are pushed back, unable to intercept raids before they reach vital targets. Within weeks, German bombers roam largely unopposed over southern England, and Hitler gives the order. Operation Sea Lion is a go. A broken RAF would not have guaranteed a successful invasion. Crossing the Channel against the Royal Navy remained a nightmare for German planners. But it would have changed everything about the risk Hitler was willing to take. With British air defenses shattered, German troops could have attempted landings along the southeast coast, backed by whatever air cover remained. The Royal Navy, still the most powerful fleet in the world, would have fought a desperate battle in the Channel. But without air support, ships become targets rather than shields. Even a failed invasion attempt could have forced Churchill's government to consider terms, especially if public morale cracked under sustained bombing and invasion panic. A negotiated peace, or even a change in British leadership, could have left Hitler free to turn his full might eastward against the Soviet Union a year ahead of schedule, with Britain neutralized and America still watching from across the Atlantic. Some historians argue Germany's invasion plan was too underprepared navally to ever truly succeed, regardless of the air battle's outcome. But a defeated RAF would have handed Hitler the one thing he needed most: the freedom to choose his own timeline for the rest of the war. The Battle of Britain was decided not by one dramatic dogfight, but by a summer of relentless attrition. Radar stations rebuilt overnight, pilots flying 4 sorties a day, and one critical shift in German strategy that gave the RAF room to recover. Göring's decision to target London instead of airfields meant to break civilian morale, instead gave Fighter Command the breathing space it desperately needed. Had that shift never come, had radar stations stayed down, had just a few hundred more pilots been lost, the skies over Britain and the shape of the entire war could have turned out very differently. History rarely turns on grand inevitabilities. It turns on hours in the cockpit and the patience of the men giving the orders.
The Battle of Britain reminds us that the world we live in today was never guaranteed. It was won in the skies by a few thousand pilots who simply refused to lose.